Good afternoon to our live audience and to whoever else, whenever you might catch the show. We checking in with you too, evening, morning. Make sure you don't miss it because we are here today live again to talk about the thing that you need to hear. We're talking about opportunities. Welcome to the Employ Baltimore show. I am your host, Marvin McKinstry of the famed and acclaimed Employer Services Division, the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, and I got my right hand with me, rocking and rolling. I'm probably more of her right hand because she does the heavy lifting. Our producer, Miss Katanya Lester, is with us, and y'all, we have a doozy of a show today. Not only are we going to be talking about employment opportunities, as always, but we're going to be talking about addressing you. I know, listen, she said work-life balance, and I literally almost started speaking in tongues and fell out on the floor myself because sometimes that can be an issue. Today's show is going to be so impactful that you need to like, love, share the broadcast, even tag people's names in the comments that you think should be here because it's going to hit you right where you need to be hit today. I'm just super duper excited about today's show because we have two amazing guests with us today. And before we get to that, we got to go ahead and give you this rundown. March is Women's History Month, and in concert with Women's History Month, we do have two amazing women with us that's going to be bringing us some information. But y'all, we have got to remember the foundation that's been laid by women and the fact that women have been holding down a city like Baltimore a long time. They've been our mothers. They've been the ones that have been in our faith spaces praying us through. And I'm so grateful and full of gratitude because when I think about my own life, it's been those teachers going way back to when I was a little guy, all the way up into the people who are still influential in my life to this day. So we want to make sure that during this time and during this month, we're celebrating and saluting women and considering the historic impact that women have already had. That's right, we always had. We're talking about her story, not just his story. The Orioles, y'all, we are 6 days away from opening day. Man, listen, it's going to be a happening. And the Orioles, I don't know if you've been paying attention. The preseason don't mean a whole bunch, but they have been literally putting it on people. We got a couple of new arms in the rotation that are major arms. One thing I can say is they really went and addressed some of the things that caused us to get that first round exit out of the playoffs last year. So I'm excited about baseball season. I'm already putting in, getting tickets and stuff together because the little 4-year-old took him last year and all he did was play with his action figures. I don't think he paid not near a bit of attention to the game, but guess what we're going to still do? Keep going and build memories and supporting the boys in orange and black. I'm so excited. So make sure that you're tuning in, you're getting your tickets, you're going down to the yard. There's nothing like a day at the ballpark. Even if you're not a baseball fan, it's just something about seeing it live. So align yourself because it's almost time for opening day. The Baltimore Ravens continue to make splash after splash after splash. Y'all heard, I wasn't on here to talk about it last week, but we signed all-pro running back who has been a 1,000-yard rusher every year of his career and led the league in rushing last year. We're talking about King Henry himself, Derrick Henry, formerly of the Tennessee team. I'm not even going to call their names, but now he will be in the backfield. That's a scary backfield. Him and Lamar Jackson. You don't know if you're going to get pounded by him when he get the ball or if Lamar is going to go and run past you faster than you can blink when he gets the ball. But, y'all, it's exciting times in Ravens country. I know we got quite a while, a whole summer to get through, and I ain't trying to rush through it because I like the warm weather before we get to football season. But we re-signed Justin Madubuike. We're starting to shore up the offensive line with all of the players that left with this signing of Josh Johnson. Y'all, it is happening. I don't know about you, but I make sure that I stay up on the news because the birds of winter are retooling. So this year, we won't fall short at the AFC Championship game. We're going all the way to the Super Bowl. So make sure that you're tuning in and supporting. All right, we had a graphic up, which I believe means we're talking about our high school job fair every year, y'all. We take the War Memorial over. You have seen some of the largest, or the largest, not some of, but the largest employment outreach opportunities, job fairs in the city of Baltimore, as the Mayor's Office of Employment Development does it like nobody else. And yesterday, We did it exclusively for high school juniors and seniors in the city of Baltimore, y'all. It was a beautiful thing to behold. You see all of the vendors. I think there were about 83 to 85 vendors that were there, all who knew that they were coming to see Baltimore's best and brightest young people. They showed up in force. It was some major engagement happened there, because we know that when our young people get ready to transition out of high school, we want to make sure that they're moving in a direction towards the career, college. All of these things are there. It's not just jobs, career opportunity, college opportunities, military opportunities. It's a different path to success for each one of them, but we want to make sure that success is there. And you see in these images, there were a bunch of young people in the building. So shout out to Adenike and Shay and those who kind of run the lead on this project between our partnership with Baltimore City Public Schools and, of course, the Mayor's Office of Employment Development. Everybody that did anything to make this thing happen, kudos, kudos, kudos. If we are not directing or setting the path of direction for our young people to be able to travel, we are setting them up for failure. I'm going to say it again. If we're not setting a path to success, we're setting them up for failure. So this was major, major, major work, probably up and above everything else that we do in that War Memorial Building, this high school job fair. Shout out to everybody that made it happen. All right, all right, all right. That amazing, amazing lady right there in the black is my director. We're talking about the one and only Miss Yvette Clark, one of our former team members here, Miss Elena Davenport, who went from a CDF with our organization to being now at the Enoch Pratt Free Library as a workforce strategist. Put together this amazing event called Women in Workforce, and two of our guests today were a part of that. I'm going to take a moment, though, to shout out that they honored our Employer Services Division Director. I've worked under her leadership and as a part of a team with her for a very long time, and when I tell you that honor did not fall short, there's no way to really quantify the work that Miss Yvette Clark does. She is the Assistant Director, Chief of Youth of Employer Services for the Mayor's Office of Employment Development. A major, major, major honor yesterday to be received at the Women in Workforce event, and much deserved to Yvette Clark. And I see y'all getting a preview of our two guests right there. I'm going to still wait to introduce them the right way. But it was a major happening. Shout out and kudos to Miss Elena Davenport for putting together such an amazing event. I didn't have the privilege to be there because I was at one of our community outreach activities, Workforce Wednesdays, happening every week at 1063 West Fayette Street in the Victory House Worship Center Church, where I happened to be able to be the pastor. So I wasn't able to be there, but a major, major, major happening. I just see it getting bigger, better, and going in so many different directions. Awesome to have it in Women's History Month. All right, y'all, it's time to get to what you came for us to have the conversations that you're here to listen to and to talk to these amazing, amazing guests. Our first guest is a psychotherapist, professor, and author. She's the author of Honoring the Whole You, Everyday Work-Life Management Strategies for Professional Moms and Caregivers. I don't know if I qualify. Well, I'm a caregiver, so I might still qualify. A work-life management coach, assistant professor at MSW Department, School of Social Work, Morgan State University, which means she knows my very, very good friend and big brother, Dr. Kevin Daniels. Without further ado, I want to bring to the screen Dr. Sharlene Allen-Milton. Dr. Sharlene, thank you so much for being with us. It is truly an honor to have you on with us. Your reputation precedes you, and I'm excited to be the one to get to talk to you.
Oh, I thank you, Marvin. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm honored to be here. And I just want to say that it was so nice to meet Katanya yesterday. She's amazing. She is such a bright light, and she's so charismatic. And I look forward to seeing what she will be doing in the future. But Pastor Marvin, let's do this.
Listen, that's how dope Katanya is, y'all. Katanya was at the event yesterday, met them, they on the show today. She is always working, and it's awesome. It's just awesome to get to be a part of the magic that Katanya really makes happen. I tell y'all all the time, all I have to do is sit down and talk. So I'm grateful. But Dr. Sharlene, I'm so glad to have you with us today. Is it okay to call you Dr. Sharlene?
Oh, sure.
Dr.
Absolutely.
Charlene, I read off some of your accolades, but tell people a little bit about yourself from your own perspective, just to kind of set the tone, so that we can they can know a little bit from you who we actually talking to.
Sure, sure. So I identify myself as a Caribbean American from New York City, the Bronx. And I became a mom at 42. And not only did I become a mom at 42, but 7 months later, I ended up walking the halls of Morgan State University as a faculty member and trying to plan a wedding that December. My daughter was 7 months old, and I was like, God, thank you for these blessings, but we've never been prepared to talk about work and life as a Black woman. Oftentimes our foremothers and forefathers, they showed us by doing, but didn't have the conversation about this is how you work and care for a family. And so, as a result of the pandemic, um, because I am a therapist and I had a clientele, but after having my daughter, I um, I stopped doing therapy for a while, and so the pandemic, was a reset for many of us. And I decided to pretty much say, I want to put my shingle back out there, but this time I want to have a focus. And what happened was when that defining moment occurred back in 2017, I began to do a lot of research about the term work life balance. And as a result of that research, I held workshops for graduate students. I held workshops for professionals about work life balance. So when the pandemic came, I said, you know what? Now that I feel like I don't have three arms because of the adjustment of being a mother, a professional mom, I want to write a book to help those who are overwhelmed and stressed by the tension and strain that they experience, feeling guilty when it comes to trying to balance work and life. And so I wrote this book entitled Honoring the Whole You for that population.
Well, one of the things that I like about what I seen when I got a chance to begin to read who was coming on today, it says everyday work life management strategies for professional moms and caregivers. And sometimes, solutions don't kind of meet you where you are. Some of the stuff that people want people look at me all the time and tell me, you need a vacation. If I could take one right now, and the overlapping aspects of my life between ministry, community, owning two businesses, and a full time job, and being a single father, it can be rough. So I like the fact that you put it there, but can you put that in perspective for us? Everyday work life management strategies.
Yes, yes. So as you said, we can say, "Oh, I want to go to these," and name an extravagant place. But what's happening is that's not doable right now. And so it's important to have everyday strategies, such as boundaries, setting priorities, time management, um, of affirmations, such as knowing your rhythm. Oftentimes we think of organizational strategies that fit other people but don't fit us, right?
Hmm.
And so it's honoring yourself by developing what works for you. Now, when we say boundaries, when we say priorities, when we say time management, and there's a list that can go on and on. It's what's doable for you. right? I think the other thing that is important is understanding what is work life balance. Is it any such thing, right? And work life balance, the definition, it has to do with your perception of your life's goals, wants, and needs. It has nothing to do with a scale. Oftentimes, when we think about work life balance, whether we realize it or not, we get an image of Lady Justice. And Lady Justice is a woman who is blind and who's holding up scales. And the balancing of the scales really means neutrality, because you see, Lady Justice is supposed to be blind and impartial and neutral to the law. That's not balance. That's not who we are. When we talk about work life balance, what we're really talking about is management. And therefore, it's so important to understand that what you give priorities to, that's what's going to get your attention. And so you might need to give 60% to something today and 20% to something else, and 10% and another 10% to something else. But if that is what works for you, that's what works for you. That's what work life management is. But in order to do that, it's important to understand the fact that you need to know your priorities. I can
You
go on.
sound like me, Dr. Charlene. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I tell people all the time, stewardship has got to be the highest priority. Stewardship over your money, your time, how you mitigate all of the blessings that are in your life, let alone the other things that require so much of us. And one of the things that you have in here that kind of struck me, everybody know up until almost 2 years ago now when she transitioned, my grandmother and my mom, both who have major medical issues. For the last 5 years or so, I've been a caregiver to both of them. My mom, who's still in my house at this time, the caregiver's trying to provide care, right? But not taking care of the person that's most important, which is themselves. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, we know that you can't pour from an empty cup, right? And
Mm.
so we
You
know
preaching on here.
And so we know that if you're not taking care of you, you can't take care of anybody else, right? And so, therefore, I talked about boundaries. Once you realize, right, that going out to eat is, excuse me, priorities. Once you realize that going out to eat every night of the week is not one of your priorities, but family is one of your priorities, that means when you get invited to eat, you have to say no. And so that is saying no is a part of self care, right? And so you asked about the caretakers. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. And so, and I'm not talking about massages and grooming, even though that is a part of
Mm.
self care, right? I'm talking about wellness. I'm talking about nutrition. I'm talking about making sure that you mentioned finances are your finance, you're living by a budget. That's self-care. I'm talking about mental stimulation. I'm talking about community where you're able to find a place where you can be vulnerable and say, listen, this is a lot, and they can emotionally validate what you're doing, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you finding a place and space that you can, pun intended, let your hair down. Let your hair down, because you might not be able to go to the Jamaica tomorrow. But when you have that man cave time, That's emotionally, mentally, and that refreshes your soul. So you can go back and care for your son, your mom, and your church.
I got one more thing I want to throw at you before we give people the information on how to get a book, because we're not gonna give y'all the strategies. We need y'all to support this amazing work by this amazing queen who has taken the time to do the research so you can get the information. There's an aspect of you called the work life management coach. We're not at the book yet, Katanya, but you can leave it up there while we talk about this. The work life management coach, because there are people like me who are great at helping everybody else, but not super great at helping ourselves. I pastor the leaders at my church, try to encourage the leaders of my church to pastor the church, but still, I find myself in a space where it seems like there's nobody really to push and help me. But you are the work life management coach. Talk to us about a little bit about that aspect of who you are, and then we're gonna tell people how to get this amazing book.
Yeah. So first of all, Marvin, thank you so much for all of these amazing questions and statements. You know, I consider myself a work-life balance solutionist because what is happening is many of us, many who are leaders, many people who are working professionals, don't have a space to talk about the fact I'm stressed. And not only am I stressed, but I'm going through a lot of things. And so that's where I come in. Let's talk about goals. Let's talk about strategy. I'm also a therapist, but as a coach, we're not going to talk about therapy. What we're going to do is create goals, create smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, reachable, and timely goals. And we're going to your I am a professor as well. So you're going to get some homework and you're going to get things to do to talk about to lead you to your outcome or to your desired space. I'm going to what I call is my EES method. I'm going to educate you. I'm going to equip you. I'm going to empower you, and I'm also going to support you so that, and I'm going to be a listening ear, a confidential listening ear, so that you can reach your goals.
People who want to start with the book before they can get the schedule in the private sessions, can you tell them where they can get to the book and how they can order it? I'm going to order mine today, and I'm going to show proof to everybody that I ordered my book today.
So you can order it on, you can go to Gumroads if you wish. You can order it there, and I will personally sign it and ship it out to you. And you can order it on Amazon.com. The price is $20.
See, I literally had pulled up the Amazon link because I was going to order it and then show it on the screen that I ordered it, but I can't get it signed off Amazon. So I'm going to need the link. Can we get the link shared to the other resource that you gave us? Because I want my signed copy.
And I would love to do a book club. I would love to, facilitate a book club for about 5 weeks. We could get that going where I come in, facilitate the book club, and walk you through. This is where you, as a group, you would get the ability to specifically walk through with me a particular problem, right? And this is how you walk through practice setting a boundary, right? Setting an affirmation to counteract negative self talk. So, yeah, I look forward to future
Well, one of
collaboration.
the things that I believe in, and you said it right, one of the things I believe in as a pastor is making sure that these opportunities and these things are accessible to our congregation. So we are definitely going to talk, get together, and collaborate around bringing you into some spaces where you are definitely needed. Dr. Sharlene Allen-Milton, I want to say thank you so much for being a part of the Employee Baltimore show today. I'm certain that this won't be your last time on here, and I'm excited about the opportunities to further engage and to interact and to bring these much needed resources. These are much needed resources. And for somebody to have taken the time to do it and to present it in a practical manner, I believe it's going to be amazing. So thank you again for joining the show today. And I'm grateful
Thank you.
that Katanya brought you on.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Katanya. And I also want to just say that there's a lot of people who are working that have mental health challenges, dealing with depression, dealing with anxiety, dealing with worry. And so these things, these strategies can help you with just not feeling like I have to put one foot in front of the other, but help you to live a whole life and honor you. So I look forward to the responses about reading the book.
Awesome, y'all. That's Dr. Sharlene Allen-Milton, the author of Honoring the Whole You, a work-life management coach. Y'all make sure that you get to the Facebook page and the other mediums that it's going to be posted on, because we will have her link posted to the book and the opportunities to be able to connect with her further than on the show today. Dr. Charlene, one more time, thank you so much for being with us today. This has been so enlightening and enriching, and I'm looking forward again to future collaboration.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. Listen, I'm glad that, listen, Katanya is just brilliant in her own right, because I'm glad she made that the first session, because psychologically, I know for me, it's always taking care of me is always secondary to the responsibilities. And I think that's something that we need to flip. So before, bringing our next guest on to talk about gaining these opportunities and doing what we need to do in that space, it is just awesome, 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 awesome that we started off with how to be the best you. So the next great opportunity that you have come along is not one that's finding a shadow of you that doesn't have all of you to be able to offer and contribute. And with that being said, I am excited, 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 because we have the HR speaker, hiring strategist, workforce development trainer, and the president and chief of Career Image Solutions herself here with us today. She is the one and only Miss Hennither Gant, and we are so excited to have you with us today. Katanya, bring her on.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday.
Miss Gant, how art thou?
I art great.
I'm gonna ask you a question, and I'm sure
Yes.
you won't be offended. How
Okay.
often are you reminded of that young lady that used to be on what's that show called? The college version of Cosby Show.
Yep. I get quite a few shows. It's funny though, now that I'm losing a little bit more weight, I'm getting it again. For a while, nobody said anything to me about it. But I caught a flight the other day, somebody, and now I can't think of her name because you're saying it, but it is
Yeah, I can't even think of the show. I was about to say School Days, but that's the movie.
No, that's
What's
not
that?
it.
Katanya put it in the Witch Conference. Y'all remember that show that spun off of the Cosby Show? But you look like that, sister. How you doing, Miss
I'm
Gant?
doing good. Thank you for asking. I had a
We on
great
that
time
same journey.
listening
I'm
to
trying to
it.
get the weight off of me too. And
Yeah,
I changed my entire life. I done went
yeah.
pescatarian and all of that sort of thing.
Wow.
Yes, it took some real discipline. And I started before the year change because I didn't want it to be another meaningless, wasteful resolution.
Likewise.
And it's been tough because I love a corned beef sandwich. I love a ribeye steak. I was at a restaurant yesterday that had, believe it or not, they had oxtail tacos, and God knows one of the people I was with got them, and they looked and smelled so good. But
Mm,
I stayed disciplined
that sounds
because
delicious.
those are kind of things that I start and can't come back. But that ain't what we're here for, to be talking about my dining exploits. We have this amazing, amazing image. So image, I don't want to say image coach because I feel like that minimizes the many awesome things that comes along with having somebody like you. But to a degree, that is kind of the crux of what it is that you do. So before we get into that, and I know I gave out some of the accolades already, but talk to people about who Hennither Gant is,
Yeah.
so that they can know who we're talking to today.
Good stuff. Again, hello, hello to my favorite city in the world, Baltimore. So
Is there
that
another city in the world?
there's no other city.
I
Mm-mm.
know that. I'm just saying. You said
No.
favorite. Is there another city
I
other
mean,
than
I've lived
Baltimore?
in other cities, so I had to, at least say that because some people try to
Absolutely.
claim me.
Absolutely.
No, but as a first generation descendant from two parents from Sierra Leone, West Africa, and then born in Baltimore, but lived in between Prince George's County, Baltimore City, my entire childhood, and Baltimore became my home. When I decided to go to the Coppin State University, and then been here ever since. But when I was working, and when I decided to come back to Baltimore, I was working in a role where I realized very quickly that there were many people who were in position to get a position, to get a job, but there was one thing that was wrong: their resume. Right. So it was through that experience that I knew that the dream that I had about starting my company, Career Image Solutions, needed to really flourish, because there were so many people that I was encountering in Baltimore, just in Baltimore at that time, who I knew could do the job, but they just didn't have the other tools that were needed to allow them to be positioned for the actual job and or career that they wanted. So I've been doing that ever since, specializing in all things hiring for working professionals as well as companies who are looking to hire, retain, and or develop their staff. So that is a little bit about me.
But that's a big deal because being in my lane where I work directly with businesses around all things strategy
Mm.
towards making sure that they are in line to hire the best of the best, I still see that other side where you have people who literally could quite possibly be the best possible candidate for the opportunity. And I'm going to say this, hope I don't offend anybody, but just not packaged right.
Yeah, yeah.
How
Mhm.
important is it that this be the one place in our opportunity seeking space that we might be in that where the package resembles the gift.
Come on, listen. I love that analogy. I might have to copycat that one.
Got it.
But
Go with it.
I'm telling you, this year, those that I do coaching as well, career coaching, and those that I am coaching this year, I'm telling them, and kind of ringing the bell really loud, raising the flag, because the state of the workforce is changing. We are beginning to see the scales tip. Is going to be tipping even more so to an employer market, not just an applicant market as it has been over the past few years. So right now it's so critical for us to be positioned. Even if you are at a place in a role that you are happy in, you want to at least update your resume at least twice a year. At least. I like to tell people do it at least on a quarterly basis, because you never know. In addition to that, Marvin, you talked about you working with companies. I too work with companies, except on a different end. Like, so I help them get ready to hire, but many times I'm also helping them get their HR practices together to ensure that they have what they need for their next hire. And I can't tell you in just the first 3 months of the year how many organizations I've had to coach and other HR professionals I've had to coach on how to do their layoffs, because there have been so many other layoffs. So it's not just about if you are laid off. I'm not here to be the bearer of bad news, but it's for the position that you want, right? So it's about, what do you need? Are you positioned properly for the thing that you want next? And are you really thinking about it? It is absolutely essential, even if you are happy right now.
Well, yeah, because one of the things we talk about in the space of my other role as a pastor in marriage counseling is not letting yourself go after
Mm.
you get married, and how important is that? Like and I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been with the mayor's office of employment development for quite a long time, and other than maybe a bio, I haven't really been one that's been touching up my resume and things of that nature. But at the same time, how important really is it that you don't let yourself go? I know two people personally, and shout out to Rosemary Warren because she is the person that deals with our rapid response, which is a division when these big companies have gone out due to various things like the pandemic, economic downfall. She's the person that organizes the re engagement into the workforce. And when you're that person, like you said, you've been happy on that job, you've been there for 15 years, you haven't thought about a resume and things of that nature, you kind of let yourself go. And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden, somebody moves your cheese. Talk to them directly right now, as though you had an audience full of those people,
Mm.
about how, or people who are not in that pool, because we don't want to wish that on anybody. But how important it is to not let yourself go. And when I say not letting yourself go, I'm talking about the being up on what's going on in the labor market, making sure
Come
that you're
on.
aware of organizations like the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, shameless plug, like Career Image Solutions, that are out there to help you in case things change.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm going to tell you this, that there is no worse regret than an opportunity being presented to you that you are not prepared for. There is no bigger regret, right? So one of the things I want to encourage you to do, even if you might not be even be looking to go anywhere else, right? But you want to just bring out your resume, update it with some of the accomplishments that you've done, right? In recent, maybe just look at the last 2-3 months if you can't remember what you've done over the last few years. Begin to establish an online presence. Okay, depending on your particular background, if you are on LinkedIn, I definitely want to recommend that you establish a LinkedIn profile if you're not there. And if you are there, I want to encourage you to be establishing some type of online presence where people can begin to know you for what you are doing, right? So that's just another tip. And the third tip I will give is to track your accomplishments throughout the year. So let's just say that you like, Hennither, listen, I don't feel like doing my resume. I don't have the time for it, and if that is the case, you want to hire somebody like us to be able to help you with that. But even if that's not the case, you want to track your accomplishments. Literally, maybe just get an email document. I'm a big fan of not keeping your accomplishments at work. I know that sounds like a little catch 22, right? Because if anything was to happen to you at work, you now lose that file. Okay. So you want to maybe do it in your Google Cloud or put it in your email and just have a running list of accomplishments. So things that people have asked you to do, things that you have done outside of what people asked you to do, right? Accolades that you receive. Let's say somebody said, oh my goodness, Marvin, you did a fantastic job today and put together X, Y, and Z. You might literally go ahead and type in that exact quote that the person said, right? So tracking your accomplishments, keeping your resume updated, and establishing an online presence are ways that you can still be happy, but just make sure that you are positioned, because I'm telling you, there's so many. And let me tell you, even for those of us that are not looking to go anywhere, I'll give you a quick example. There was somebody who was reached out to because they became a thought leader in their space while working, and they had a speaking opportunity. They weren't looking for speaking opportunities, but they asked her for her resume and her updated bio, right? And she had to take days to do it, and she's like, oh, I should have listened to you, So again, you just want to be properly positioned is what I'm trying to say.
That's awesome. And listen, y'all, this is some invaluable advice, but we ain't gonna give it all to you on here, because she got some platforms and opportunities for you to be able to connect with her so that she can keep on eating. Miss Gant, talk to the people about how they can connect with you and all of the many services that you're offering.
Yes, yes, yes. So again, I am representing Career Image Solutions today. So by all means, you can go to our website, career-image.com. If you want to email us, you can email us at services@career-image.com. But if you are looking, for your next career move and you just like, hey, what's happening out here? We do have some positions that we are recruiting for right now. You can go ahead and schedule a call with one of our career solution specialists at bit.ly/my career move. Again, thank you all so much for having me today and getting to talk a little bit about some things. I see the picture on here. You all did good.
I got the dopest producer in the game, Hennither. It's been a pleasure. Real quick, do me a favor, Katanya, and let's get Elena in her new role and posture on here. She was the thought leader behind the Women in Workforce,
Yes.
and I see that Hennither was another one of our awardees. Hennither, thank you so much. This is
Thank you.
so invaluable,
Thank you so
and to
much.
know that there are many different pathways and access points for people to get to these goals, that are literally, to get to their goals. That's it, a different world. For people to get to success in achieving their goals, it's invaluable that we have a partner like you in this great work of making sure that the social economic dynamics of people, even in the space of sudden loss, can continue on to move forward in a way that they can continue to take care of their family. Thank you so much for the great work that you're doing. Thank you for being on the Employ Baltimore show today, and I'm sure this is not the last time that we're going to see you. So I look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you to the team. Appreciate you all.
All right, y'all. And listen, this has been one of the most, if you ask me, impactful shows. I know you're accustomed to showing up here and hearing somebody say, we got this job, we got that job. But listen, to be able to take care of yourself and to be able to prepare yourself appropriately for greater opportunities is really the season that we're in. It's the season that we're in. You don't want your next level to come and you're not suited to step up to it. I know I sound like the pastor right now. It's all right. But you do not want that opportunity to come and you're not prepared. Time is of the essence, y'all. When it comes down to making this next move, you want to make sure that you have the emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical capacity to do it. And you want to make sure that you're prepared. That's why at the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, we do not take any shorts in serving our community as it pertains to preparation and connectivity to employment opportunities. Before we go off here, I want to thank again our guest today for being with us. I want to thank every one of our viewers. I want to thank the most amazing producer in the world, Miss Katanya Lester. And I want to thank everybody all the way up to Miss Mackenzie Garvin that we get to bring you this virtual information. This is a means in which people are getting so much information, and we're making sure that you're keeping up with us, y'all. We are on 5 social media platforms at one time now, so make sure you're liking, loving, sharing, commenting, finding a way to get this information to people, because if you're looking for an opportunity, the Mayor's Office of Employment Development is looking for you. With a focus on economic justice, we have built and are maintaining a workforce system that really works. Thank you for joining us. See you again next week.